I built a fossil village in the desert for ground-type Pokemon, with a vibrant plaza, a fossil dig site, and these cute sandstone canyon houses. And today, I'm gonna take you with me to show you exactly how I built it. Oh, and also I found some useful tricks for desert builds, including one of my new favorite plant decorating tricks, so we'll get to that. Today we're turning this desert corner of Pallet Town into a full canyon village. Usually I build as I go with a sketch that I have in mind. But this time we have many separate builds that come together to form the area, so I needed a little bit more structure. This is why today we're going to be working with a top-down layout sketch. As you can see, I started by terraforming the outer shell of the village, shaping the canyon walls. A big inspiration for this build was traveling through Utah and Arizona. I always loved those desert landscapes with buttes, rock formations, and this is why I wanted this village to sit inside a colored canyon backdrop. The fossil excavation site will also become the reason why this village exists, but we'll get to that later. I used different colored blocks here to replicate that canyon feel that these buttes have in real life as well. I widened the area at the bottom here a little bit so we have a good shape, or a base in that case, to build the houses on. And then I started shaping the base of the first house with sandstone. Pause here if you want to copy the basic foundation before I continue with the house. The trick for these houses is fairly simple. You build a larger bottom section with a smaller top section, so that the roof of the lower section acts as a balcony for the upper section. For the windows, I first used glass, but you will see me later change that to a better looking option. I then placed down what was a big inspiration for the entire building, the wooden single border to create this timber accent on the roof. Reddit user YoFriendo is what originally inspired these buildings. They do gorgeous desert builds. You should definitely check them out. I linked them down in the description. I built a small extended balcony here with bridge planks, and I used wire first for the pergola, but it looked a little bit too clean, so I used rope because I feel like it fits the dusty canyon style a little bit more. I then finished up with some decorations for the exterior of the entire house. And of course, tables and furnitures for the balcony/roof for the Pokemon to sit outside, enjoy the sun. Or rain. Once a year, here in the desert. For the second house, I followed a similar structure. Again, the goal was a bigger bottom section with a smaller off-grid section around it. On top. I'm using sandstone for the main part and then later replaced the upper part for the Poké Center wall, the middle section, just to change up the texture. Later I moved that section to the other side because the first version for me felt too cramped, and moving it over gave the building a little bit more space. Then I carve out all the windows, add the wooden hatches for windows. And again add the wooden trim on top. I also added these wooden siding panels for extra texture. Small trick here, I used the bridge planks as little window boxes, so you have some space to put down planters as shelves and flowers under the windows. On top of this second house, I wanted a small watchtower with a pergola, and I struggled with the design, but eventually I settled on this version using the 10 wooden pieces on top. I then moved on and finished decorating the entire outside. For the third building, I went a little bit more crazy. I didn't have a really fixed idea, so I just started to place down blocks and I was like, okay, let's see what happens. In the end, we got this design with stairs in between, one building below, and 2 separate rooms on top of the main building. I will put the rough material list for all the 3 houses in the pinned comment down below. And of course, we cannot miss the signature for the houses, the single wooden trim border on top of the houses. This is what sells the vibe, I'm telling y'all. Then I did carve out the windows, and with that the outer shell of the house is done. Now what you will see on this side, the house overextends. That's because I had in mind while building to extend the canyon on this side. So that's what we're doing here. This also gives the village a little bit more scenery on this side, which I think is perfect. And then, if you watch my videos, you know I love terraforming, and I got a taste of blood terraforming the canyon here, so I terraformed the other side of the canyon as well while I was at it to give it even more of a scenery to the village. Spoiler, it is not the last time I will be terraforming in this video. And then now all we have left to do is decorate the outside of the house. And with that, the houses are done. With that done, I wanted to have a centerpiece for the village. So next I built a little plaza here. I wanted the plaza to have a small outdoor bakery. So this is what we're building here. I used the modern wall, and this is probably my favorite block in the entire game. I think it looks gorgeous, and it fits even more perfect here because it has a similar stone shape as the oven. For the main plaza, I wanted something that looked a little bit like a carpet, so I used this pink flooring under the table. But I had a little bit of a better idea later. Then I wanted to figure out the pathing. I tested multiple options, but in the end I worked with these darker stones because they have a good contrast with the sandstone without stealing too much of the attention. This is also where I added the wooden path every 2 or 3 blocks, because that actually makes it so the Pokemon actually use the paths and visually break up the sand nice. Tinkating moving into the plaza made the village feel alive even before I actually finished it, so welcome to the city, little boy. And yes, he's a boy in my world. Look at him, so cute. Small decoration tip: using brown colored mugs and brown colored garbage bins make for great pottery. And this is what we currently have, but the village is still missing the thing that gives it its history: the fossil excavation site. But before that, I moved on to finish all the interiors for the houses. For the first house, I added a fireplace, a small kitchen, and a dining area. I replaced the floor with wooden flooring and then added a small bedroom upstairs. For the second house, I went again for a fireplace and a little children's playroom / library vibe. Reading is important. Do your reading, kids. And then on top, again, finished the building with a small bedroom. For the third house, I kept it simple and cozy with furniture, a little tea area, plants, flowers, and a bedroom space. And in the upper rooms, I just decorated whatever I had left in my inventory to make it look livable so the Pokemon can actually move in. Earlier I mentioned I changed the pink plaza carpet. While gathering resources on Dream Island, I found this extravagant carpet flooring. So I stole it and colored it pink and used it as the flooring on the plaza. And it looks like carpet, but it has this golden edge around it, and I didn't even know this block existed before this. The history of this village is that Cacnea and Cacturne were traveling through the desert looking for fossils, and then they found this place with a lot of fossils, and then they settled here. So we're gonna build this excavation site for fossils now, starting with a little shack on the other side of the town where the Pokemon will store their tools, shovels. Okay, shovels are tools, but they're stuff to dig out the fossils, is what I mean. Some of you will notice I had a big inspiration of an Australian outback vibe for this shack, specifically for the roof. And then I started to dig down and create the fossil dig site. I dug out multiple layers, 2, 3, even 5 blocks deep, changed up the terrain, placed down all the fossils where I wanted them, and used iron scaffolding and all of the other stuff and tools that you would find in a fossil dig site. What really makes this build work, in my opinion, is the different kind of layers and the different elements blending in together. the iron of the scaffolding or the stairs, while having fossils on the ground and having rough terrain on the top layers, a little bit of sand around it. Everything together makes the place work. Now it was at this point where I really wanted some more greenery in the whole village. Now this is the desert, so there's not going to be much trees or bushes growing, but there are desert plants in real life. We don't have any of those in Pokopia. Or do we? We have the Sansevieria, or also known as the snake plant. This is a native plant that grows in some places in the desert. So this is my new favorite trick in the entire build. Unfortunately, the snake plant comes in a pot. But if you dig one block down, bury the pot and look from a distance, it looks like a natural desert plant. I loved it so much, and I still do, so that I placed it all around the village. It keeps the area dry and desert-like, but gives it some life. Then I added these colorful buntings around the village to make the place look nicer, and I love how this adds a little bit more of a Mexican-inspired touch. It looks cute. And when you thought I did enough terraforming, you are wrong. I can never do enough terraforming. So I extended both canyons at the beginning here of the town to make the town a little bit more closed in, so there's only one path leading in to the village. Did I mention already, I just love terraforming. And for the final touches, I added more snake plants, dried grass, this yellow seashore grass in the beginning of the sand, where the village transitions into the desert. Now let's have a quick tour to see what we built. So it opens up from the desert, slowly transitioning into this path, surrounded by the canyon leading into the village. I love how this looks. And then it opens up to these houses, and the houses are so nice. I love this idea from your friend though. I think it worked out exactly how I imagined. I also think it's very cool that the village is vertical in some ways, and that the Pokemon can use the roofs of the houses as balconies. The Plaza, another super cute area. The little bakery in the background here is my favorite part of the plaza. And the interior... Oh, honey. Go away from the water. That's super effective. Don't do that. The interiors are nothing special, but they look cute nevertheless. And then this is... Oh, I say this is my favorite part a lot, but I somehow can't decide what really is my favorite part. I just really like this excavation side. This is what I want to get at. It turned out so nice. I really, really like it. And that's the fossil village done. This is such a nice desert village for these ground type Pokemon, with those cute sandstone canyon houses, a vibrant plaza in the center, a fossil dig site, and these lovely canyon walls all around the area. So which Pokemon would you let live in this village? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you all 8 people for watching. I'll see you in the next one.